across now to Charles Davidson, Executive Director of the Kleptocracy Initiative at the Hudson Institute. He's also the publisher and co-founder of the American Interest magazine. Thank you for joining us here on France 24.
Well, my pleasure.
So was this a new Donald Trump that we heard, or the same old stuff?
Well, of course, it's the same old stuff, but the context is kind of horrifying, and this press conference degenerated into something that I really think we don't want to see in this country. The thing responsible people need to keep in mind, and I certainly personally have been on the record in the American Interest magazine, has published a great deal that is not terribly favorable concerning our president. But the main result of this election is not that the Democrats have taken the House, but that President Trump is still president. And we have to keep that in mind and all be responsible citizens at this point. People in the think tank world and in the Fourth Estate, which Thomas Jefferson considered to be the most important branch of government, need to be responsible in this situation. So I must say I'm feeling quite critical of a lot of people who share my political proclivities, and I think it's extremely important that we maintain some consistency in our foreign policy now. I think that it's very important to realize that there are a lot of good people in the U.S. government. There's been a lot of very accurate reporting about what's really going on in this administration and in this White House, and we need to keep that in mind, keep the lights on, and keep the trains running and things functioning. And this is very important. Things not degenerate into a civil war. We've been in a kind of civil war. Now
A civil war?
The Democrats have taken the House. It's important to work together. Yes. Sorry?
A civil war, you say?
A civil war. Well, yes, that's been sort of the atmosphere in the United States, leading since the presidential election. We're an extremely polarized and divided country. I mean, this is what Americans are saying to themselves day in, day out. It's the red-blue division is very extreme. We've never, in my lifetime, I don't remember us ever being this divided. So at this point in time, with this midterm result, to a lot of people there's a balance that has been brought back. So fine, but we must work together and maintain some stability.
There was an interesting point in the press conference where we heard President Trump strategize out loud, saying how he'll have a much easier time reaching compromises on things like infrastructure spending and health care with the Democrats in charge than if he'd had a razor-thin majority in the lower house. Do you agree with that calculus?
Well, when it comes to health care and infrastructure, absolutely, because there's a great deal of public spending that's needed there, which Democrats will vote for, and of course the Republicans were somewhat reluctant to vote for. And of course, to pay for all that, we're going to have tax revenue unless we just continue to increase this deficit. So I think that was quite a savvy couple of remarks there, actually.
There's going to be more checks and balances, obviously, with the House of Representatives now under the control of the Democrats. We heard during the press conference the ability to subpoena Donald Trump's tax returns, something he's always refused to do. Perhaps more on the Russia investigation coming out or being pursued with greater zeal. Is this good or bad for democracy in the United States?
Is all of that good or bad for democracy? Lord, well, I mean, the state of American democracy is rather pitiful, I mean, what we need to do first is dig up the founding fathers. I mean, this is pathetic. Our system goes back to the late 18th century, and we dig them up and show Benjamin Franklin the steam engine, and he'll flip out. Wow, that's really something incredible. So let's dig them up, take them from the steam engine to the internet, and then get them to fix this thing. Our whole system's broken. So we need to fix the system, the electoral college. I mean, this ridiculous business where we're supposedly a representative democracy. So the Democrats take the House, and then the Senate goes the other way. I mean, when you look at how this functions, it's absurd. I mean, we should be the laughingstock of the world if it weren't for the important seriousness of this situation.
Charles, that's a question. Hang on, that's a question that
fix the system. Yeah,
I'm saying that's a question that a lot of Europeans ask, which is why is it that in the United States the Constitution, as it was written in the 18th century, is considered some kind of tabernacle from higher up? Why can't there be changes to what's broken in the political system?
Because we're a bunch of idiots.
Seriously.
No, I'm sorry. It's ridiculous. It's completely absurd. And actually, you know, what might help is if other countries start to criticize us more, and if we drop the democracy promotion business until we fix our own.
All right, we'll leave it there. I want to thank you so much, Charles.
But things have to get bad before. Yeah.
Go ahead, finish. You're saying things have to get bad before they get worse?
Yes, things sometimes have to get worse before they'll get better. I think we're at a point where there can be a real turnaround because things are incredibly bad, and the country may pull together. But who knows? But we've got to do it, and there's a great deal of reform that has to happen in the United States of America. Thank you.
Thank you, Charles Davidson, Executive Director of the Kleptocracy Initiative.